Maybe in the future. All right, here we go. All right, so Lucy, this is what we got. This is your warm up. So we're gonna start out on the roller. We're gonna sit on the floor. We're gonna tuck our hips and come up into a bit of a bridge. It's gonna roll up and down our back, keeping the abs engaged. I want to do this for about 30 seconds to a minute. I like to get a little bit of upper back involved. So if I feel a little something in here, I might sit on that spot and I'll straighten my arms. I'll reach over. Sometimes I'll make circles with it. And after that, we'll roll our quads. I want you to do 30 seconds to a minute on each leg. So I'll lay the roller like horizontally, and I'll put the working leg on top of the roller. The off leg will be off to the side, kind of bent like 90 degrees, and I'll roll up and down from the hip flexor to the knee. And I may rotate my leg in and out, trying to find that sweet spot. Sometimes it's lateral quad on the outside, sometimes it's medial on the inside. And once I find that sweet spot for here, for me, it's right here. I'll just do some leg curls, bending and straightening the knee, and trying to create some like pain-free movement. Sometimes the hip flexors and the quads could be the reason why the back feels a little tight. And the way you train, I wouldn't be surprised if the quad is part of that. And the last thing I'll roll is the adductor, and like that vastus medialis, that medial quad near the knee. Same setup, except now the roller is going to be vertical, and I'm going to lay my thigh horizontally across that roller, and I'm just going to go side to side, going from the hip to the knee, trying to find that sweet spot. And then I'm just going to straighten and bend the knee on that sweet spot. So again, we're going to roll each thing for like 30 seconds to a minute, and that's the whole process, rolling back and forth, trying to find that spot, rolling up and down a little bit on that spot, and moving through the joint. All right, all that'll take 30 seconds to a minute on each side. So you're gonna do about 5 minutes max of foam rolling. I'm gonna do 2 stretches. Our first stretch we're gonna do is like a hip flexor and hamstring stretch. So I'm gonna get in this half kneeling position, and I'm gonna tuck my tailbone. I'm gonna shift my weight forward, and then I'm gonna sit back, straightening the front leg. Shift my weight forward, and shift my weight back. So I would do this for about 30 seconds each leg. All right. And the next thing we do is we do a child's pose to downward dog. So I like to start on the floor, and I'll push back, trying to sit on those heels. And I'm actively reaching forward. My arms aren't just resting here. I'm reaching out the door. Then I'll fall forward, and then I'll push back into a downward dog, pedal the feet, pushing away with the heel of my palms. And I'll go back to the floor, pushing back into that child's pose. And I'll go back to the floor and push back into that downward dog. Again, I'll do this for about 30 seconds to a minute. And I do this as needed. When you get into each position of the stretch on both stretches, try not to hold the end position for more than like 3 seconds or so. We want to loosen things up and be ready to move. If you hold the stretch too long, you kind of get really relaxed, and that's not ideal before a class. But if you're going to do this after the workout, which you can do as well, then feel free to hold the stretch a bit longer. You're already going into, a rested state, if you will. You're not looking to throw any punches and jump around anymore. All right, now after that, we're going to get into some kind of corrective work. And we are going to take this band around the knees. We're gonna lie on our side. My hips are gonna be about 90. My knees are gonna be about 90. I like to lie on my arm like a pillow. Some people do this, in theory. The neck has nothing to do with what I'm doing with the hips. But if I'm already having back issues, I should just keep my spine in line. All right. I like to roll my weight over onto that hip just to make sure like I'm really grounded. I'm gonna separate my knees. I'm gonna raise this top knee for 10. But as I raise this top knee, I'm gonna drive the bottom knee into the floor. All right. So we'll do this for 10 reps on each side. I'll just do 5 now so you can see what it looks like. And then, of course, you'll switch and you do the same thing. You'll work 10 on each side, driving that top knee up and driving that bottom knee into the floor. Then we'll keep the band there. And we'll do a set of 20 glute bridges. I'm going to press my lower back against the floor. The band is around my knees. I want to push my knees out into the band. They don't have to go super wide like bow-legged or anything. I just need to do enough where I feel, oh, my butt's on. That's good. So I'm stabilizing that knee, trying to keep it in one position. Then I'll drive the hips up and back down. Notice my back doesn't arch at the top. I just roll it up one vertebrae at a time and roll back down. Kind of tucking the hip on the way up, keeping those knees out. All right, so we do 10 clams each side and then 20 reps on the glute bridge. Then we'll grab one of these longer bands. We're just going to do a set of pull-aparts. We'll hold the band straight out about like the height of the bridge of our nose. I like to hold it high and pull down because it kind of helps me pull my shoulders down. Remember we were talking about elevated shoulders. So can't really do depressions with this band, right? But I'm going to try to keep my shoulders down. I'm going to start high with my shoulders down and then pull the band from the eyes down across the chest. We do this for 10. You can play around with it. Actually, you know what? Let's do this for a set of 20. One set of 20. Feel free to break up the 20 if you need to. Of course, the tighter you hold, the harder this is. The wider you hold, the easier this is. Play around with it. Sometimes you might want to scale it. Start hard. Maybe you get to 10, you want to keep going. Slide out a little bit. Keep going as long as the form looks good. Keep working through that set. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do our 3-way banded snatch. So we're going to start with our feet on the band. We want the band right under our arches. Then we'll bring the band up to our chest. And we're going to drop into a squat while pressing overhead, just like a jerk. So this is going to get in to kind of activating that spine for you. We'll do 5 with a normal squat. And then we'll do 5 with a split squat on each leg. Again, going from the chest, get under that to the chest, and get under that. And of course, you'd switch. All right? Almost done here. The next thing we're going to do is a kettlebell good morning. We're going to hold it in this goblet position. Some people hold it like this. Some people hold it like this. Some people grab the actual bell. All are fine. I like to hold it the traditional way. I'm going to focus on pushing my hips back and standing up. I'm going to, of course, keep those knees bowed out a little bit. I don't need to get bow-legged, but just enough so that my hips are turned on to push this back and forth. And we'll do this for 3 sets of 5. So nice and slow. We're going to take about like a 3-second hinge. Then we just pop up. About 3 seconds down, and we'll pop up. Do like 5 reps. Give yourself 10 to 15 seconds rest, and then you'll go again. And then the last part of this warm-up, we're going to do a little bit of explosive work. We're not going to jump for this work because you already said your back bothers you a little bit. So what we'll do is we will kind of pull ourselves down. We'll do a standing death jump. So start up on our toes, and then we'll jump down to an athletic position. We'll start up on our toes and we'll jump down to an athletic position. We want to make sure when we get down that the arms bend, the knees bend, the hips bend, and the shoulders go back, and they meet their endpoints at the same time. So if you have to start to do it a little slower, maybe you don't even leave the ground. You just work on coordinating that landing and learning how to absorb force. And when we drop down that landing position, boom, my knees are out. So again, my hips are on. The load is going into the hips, not into my back. I'm in that athletic position. Because down the road, you're going to do this, and then you'll jump and do this. All right, but that's not what we're going to do just yet. So that's your warm-up. I would like you to do before classes. If you can't get a chance to do it before class, do this after class. Good luck, Lucy.